up this morning and I pray to the Most High. The sun is shining so bright. I'm blessed to live this life.
Blessed be Yahawah. Blessed be Yahawah.
Shalom, sisters. Shalawam, shalawam. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, praise, and glory to Bahasham. So this video is going to be a Passover video because I have sisters that are not, some sisters that watch my, okay, what am I trying to say? Sisters in the truth are not the only sisters that watch my videos. I have sisters in the world that watch my videos as well. So, you know, if y'all see me get into topics that, you know, people, y'all might be thinking, we should all know this. Well, you know, like I just said, sisters in the world watch my videos as well. So, you know, got to touch on things that we should, yes, know, but, you know, to them, they do not know. And there's nothing wrong with touching on this milk, you know what I'm saying? Touching on things that we all first learn coming to the truth. So, just letting y'all know. So, like, if y'all see me doing a lot of videos on, like, stuff that we should already know and stuff that we first learned coming to this truth, hey, if it's in your spirit to watch it, watch it. If not, not. I mean, nothing wrong with edification. The words of life, they never die. So, regardless, if you should already know it, it's always a beautiful reminder. So, we're just going to get right into it. Okay, now let's say, come with that music. So, without further ado, we're going to get our foundational scriptures. All praise to the sis, Susanna, because I actually was inspired to do this video by the sister Susanna, and I was inspired to start getting a foundation of sisters because of the sister Susanna. Very mighty, beautiful sister. So, the first one I'm going to get is 1 Peter 4 and 11. There it is. 1 Peter 4 and 11, and if any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Yahawah. If any man minister, let him do it as the ability which Yahawah giveth, that Yahawah in all things may be glorified through Yahawashi, to whom be praised in the men forever and ever. Amen. Come on. So we want to speak the oracles of the Most High and speak thus saith the Lord. Hebrews 10 and 24, and let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. So come on, we got here provoking one another good works. That's what we should be doing. So, what is Passover? This is a two-part video, physical and spiritual. Passover, sisters that are not aware, read the book of Exodus chapter 12. First, you got to understand that we are the Israelites. We are the Jews that the Bible speaks of. We are the Israelites, not no fake Jew people, not no fake Jewish people in Jerusalem. Them not the Israelites. We are the Israelites. Read Deuteronomy 28. The curses only fit us. The curses only fit the Native American Indians, the so-called Latino Mexicans, and the so-called blacks. We are the Israelites. So first, you got to understand that. We are the Israelites, okay? Now you know we're the Israelites. We going to know that the people that was delivered was us because we was the ones in slavery, the ones in captivity. So for sisters that do not know, you can read about Passover in the entire book of Exodus because it leads up to Passover. So I recommend reading the book of Exodus, the entire book, because it leads up to Passover. So when you get to Exodus chapter 12, you'll understand what's going on. You know, you can read Exodus chapter 12, but you really won't understand the backstory if you don't read the whole book. So read the book of Exodus, and then when you get to chapter 12, you'll understand what's going on. But if you want to go ahead and read Exodus 12 and then read the backstory, that's fine as well. But what is Passover? I'm going to just kind of get like verse 1 all the way kind of down to verse 20. And then, so first I think I'm going to touch on the physical part. Yeah, I'm going to touch on the physical part. So I wrote down points that we should know about Passover, and this is going to go kind of in order with the scriptures. So now that, should I do the physical part or spiritual part first? I'm going to do the physical part first, and then we'll go to the spiritual part. So Passover, it is a high holy day that is in the Bible. You know, as women, as Israelites, we do not celebrate Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, Halloween. All those are pagan and of the devil and of Satan. You can literally Google everything I'm telling you. You can Google it. You can YouTube it. There's videos out here about it, articles out here. If you Google the dark truth about Christmas, the dark truth about Halloween, the dark truth about Easter, paganism behind these things, everything will pop up. These things are nowhere in the Bible. If you are truly a servant of the Most High, if you say you're trying to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, these holidays that people are celebrating in the world, none of these things are in the Bible. But you can find Passover in the Bible. You can find Purim in the Bible. You can find the Restriction of Nicanor in the Bible. You can find Day of Simon in the Bible. You can find Feast of Tabernacles in the Bible. You can find Atonement in the Bible. All of these things can be found in the Bible. So let's put away these wicked holidays and let's come back to our heritage. So Passover is a holiday in the Bible that we are commanded to keep and celebrate by the Most High God, Yahawashi. You can read about it in Exodus, and then in Exodus 12, you can really get it, you'll really read about Passover, okay? So it is a holiday, and it's because we were delivered from Egypt. We were in captivity in the book of Exodus, and we were delivered from Egypt, and the death angel passed over those that were doing the right thing. Just say that. The death angel passed over those that were pure, that were sincere, upright in heart, passed over those that was keeping the commandments. But those that weren't, the death angel kind of got them. Okay? So, things you need to have a Passover. Herbs, lamb, unleavened bread, and wine. And if you got a child that can't drink wine, some grape juice. Then they got no leaven in it. Okay? So we will get into all these things, but there's the things you should have. Wine, get your notepad and your pen, herbs, unleavened bread, and lamb. Okay, those are things that you need for Passover. It's a very serious holiday. This is this is the most serious holiday. The most important day of our lives. Like, seriously, this is not a joke. It is serious. It's not your typical feast day where, it's not a cookout. It's not. It's very serious because it goes until you have a shot. Like, it's very serious. So we're just going to get into it. Exodus 12 and, I'm sorry, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. So when we keep Passover, that's our new year. The new year is not in the winter. It's in spring. You can even Google that as well. Nowhere in the Bible does it tell us about a new year. And actually, today is so-called April Fool's Day. It is a spirit. If you look up the definition of April Fools is because they fooled us into thinking that the new year was winter when actually the new year is in spring. You can literally look up the origins of that. The origins of April Fool's Day is because we were fooled into thinking that the new year is in winter when it's not. The new year is in spring. Passover is kept around the springtime. So when you keep Passover, that is your new year. So for the Israelites, it is not our new year yet. Actually, some of us have already kept Passover. But, for as me and for, other sisters, we haven't kept it yet. So it is not our new year yet. It is not our new year yet. So for us, it's still 2022. That's why in all of my papers and my notes, I write 2022 in parentheses. No, I write 2020. No, I write 2023 in parentheses. Like, I kind of put it in quotes because it's not 2023 yet for us. So you keep Passover, that's the new year. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month shall they take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. So, we're in captivity, so we truly don't know, like, if it's a male lamb. But y'all know some camps, like, they'll actually get a whole lamb and kill it. But, for me and how the people I'm congregating with, we're not doing that. So, if you're not doing that as well, it's not, we're not going to be able to tell if it's actually a male lamb. So that's where we pray, and that's where mercy come in. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next to his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. You shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. So, trying to get it to the T to the best of our like we can only get it to the T as much as possible because we are in captivity. And like I said, some of us, like some camps, they actually take a real lamb and they kill it themselves. But some of us, we're not able to do that just yet. If not, that's okay. Just try to keep it to the best of your ability and just ask for mercy. But if you're able to, try to go buy that lamb the 14th day of the new month. So your new moon, which is your new month, and the start of your new year, like that's the first month of your new year. Count from 14 days from that, because your new moon should be before your Passover. So you should have a new moon right before your Passover. So like I was saying, a new moon is your new month. And that's how we keep our new months, is the new moon. And so your new moon should be before your Passover. So when that new moon hits, count 14 days out. And then on that 14th day, try and go buy that lamb. Or if you're killing it, try to go get that lamb on the 14th day to try to keep it to the best of our ability. And they shall take out the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper door post of the houses wherein they shall eat it. So if you have a door, you want to strike it with blood. But we are in captivity again. So if 12 kind of see blood on your door, they might trip. So, maybe you could do a red tape or red paint or, even a red blanket of some sort to represent the red blood on the doorpost. And they shall eat the flesh of that night, roasted with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. So it says roast with fire. You cannot boil it. You cannot fry it. You cannot sear it. You got to grill it. Roast with fire. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire his head, with his legs, and with the purtenance thereof. So again, you can't boil it. You can't fry it. You have to grill it, open with fire, roasted with fire. And also, let's get Leviticus 3:17. And it reads, and it shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings, that you eat neither fat nor blood. So you cannot eat the fat or blood of any animal, especially this lamb. You cannot eat the blood of it or the fat of it. So do not eat the fat, do not eat the blood, do not boil it, do not fry it. You grill it, and you need your bitter herbs, your wine, and your lamb. And you shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning shall burn with fire. So burn the leftovers, and thus shall you eat it with your loins girded, your shoes in your feet, and your staff in your hand. You shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. So when we were keeping Passover, we were leaving Egypt. So we didn't have time to lollygag. We wasn't, oh, la, la, la. No, this was serious. We was trying to get out of captivity. We was about business. We was on a move. So we eat in haste. Try and eat in haste. You're not sitting over here talking and lollygagging while eating. You kind of got a fork and a knife, kind of cutting your lamb, taking a bite. Yeah, girl, so how was your week? This is not that type of party. This is not what we're doing. You eat that lamb in haste. You got that lamb, the bitter herbs, you busting it down in haste. Because that's what our foremothers and our forefathers was doing. And we're trying to rehearse the righteous acts and get this down to the T as best for our ability. So you're not over here slicing and dicing your lamb, looking to the side, talking about your week, playing spades. That is not what you're doing. You eat this lamb in haste, got them shoes on your feet, and you bust it down in that lamb. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and I will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment, I am the Lord. And this blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy it when I smite the land of Egypt. So, that blood on the doorpost, if I'm not mistaken, if I am mistaken, correct me, but that blood on the doorpost, it also represented, Yahawashi, the death angel passing over us, Yahawashi, using the death angel to pass over us because, we were set apart. We was keeping the Passover, we was pure. So that's what that blood on the doorpost represent. But like I said, 12 might trip, Esau might trip, the police might trip if they see blood on your doorpost. So try to be wise, in captivity, be circumspect. You can use some red tape. I did spray paint when I first kept it my first year. I did spray paint on the door. I don't know how they got it off. I think they had to repaint over it because I didn't wash it off. That thing was up there for months. But I did spray paint on the door, like on the lintels or whatever. So so we want to get passed over because the death angel is, going to be out that night. And Lord willing, we want to be passed over. So let's make sure we're doing it right with a sincere, upright, pure heart. Should I go? Yeah, let me get that. So Revelation 1:5, it reads, and from Yahawashi, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead and prince of the kings. No, that's not what I wanted. Revelation. I wrote the wrong precept down. Because that's not... Darn it. Dang, my bad, y'all. Hold on. Pass over Revelation, KJV. Poop. Well, I don't know. It's a precept in Revelation talking about getting passed over, but it's not Revelation 1:5. So, anyways, reading on Revelation 12:14. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and you shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. You shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. So this is things we have to keep all the days of our life, passing down onto our generations. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. Even the first day you shall put away leaven out of your houses. Whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, the soul shall be cut off from Israel. So get leaven out of your houses, get that baking soda out, check ingredients. I'm going to go over modern names for leaven. I'm going to do that later, Lord willing, but get leaven out of your houses. Make sure you're not eating leaven. The first day of unleavened bread is Passover, and then you will keep unleavened bread for 7 days. So the first day being Passover, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, on the last day of unleavened bread, you'll eat leaven again, bring leaven in your house. Of course, after sundown. It's like it. Not the last day of unleavened bread. After unleavened bread, you can eat leaven again and bring the leaven back in your house. But during this time of unleavened bread, you're not eating anything with leaven in it, you know, and you also got to be purged spiritually from leaven. We're going to get into it later. So when we're keeping Passover, try and get it that 10th day. Did I say 14th day? Hold on. 12 and 2. So like I said 14th day earlier, I meant the 10th day. Try and get it that 10th day of the new month. Speaking to all the congregation of Israel, saying in the 10th day of this month, so they take them every man a lamb. So try and get it the 10th day of your new month. Try to make sure it ain't looking crazy, you know, without blemish. 12 and 6. You shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. So if you can, kill it at sundown or cook it at sundown. Because Passover is the 14th day of the new month. So kill it at sundown or try to cook it at sundown. Try and tape or paint to represent the blood. Have your bread and herbs, your lamb, unleavened bread and wine. No boiling or frying. No fat or blood. Burn the leftovers. Eat it in haste. Make sure there's no leaven in your house. Okay? Those are the pointers for Passover. So now we're going to move on to the next. So like, let me keep reading. The first and last day is a Sabbath as well. And in the first day there shall be a holy convocation, and in the seventh day there shall be a holy convocation to you. No matter of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done for you, of you. So the first day of Passover, it is also, so like a Passover, there's only one day of Passover, and you have 7 days of leavened bread. So the first day, leavened bread, is also Passover. It is also a Sabbath. So that means no work, put your time off request, no school, no work. That's a Sabbath, no buying, but you can eat, celebrating righteousness, eat and rejoice that we got delivered out of Egypt, although we're back, back here, but still, again, that was very beautiful and one of the biggest milestones. So eat and rejoice, but no work. It's a Sabbath, and that is the first day of unleavened bread. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this self same day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generation by an ordinance forever. And the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at even. So the 14th day of the new month until the 21st day. 14 plus 7 is 21. So you keep it on the feast of unleavened bread for 7 days, being the first day of unleavened bread falls on Passover. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Ye shall eat nothing leavened, and all your habitations shall eat nothing leavened. So we must keep it. We must keep it. So let's go to verse 23. For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the 2 side posts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in into your houses to smite you. So that blood on our door back in those times, it represented it. The Lord passed over us because he knew we was keeping the Passover. So let's go to Exodus chapter 12, verse 47. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it. So this is not an option. You must keep the Passover. You must keep unleavened bread. If you eat unleavened during that time, it says you will be cut off. So keep Passover and keep it pure. And also, it's like I forgot to get verse 46. In one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth out of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall you break a bone thereof. So I'm not going to read the entire chapter 12, but I do recommend sisters to go read it. The entire chapter 12 and the whole book of Exodus. It's a very beautiful book. But you're not going house to house. You're not, getting your lamb and your herbs, and then you're walking over to Shonda's house. That's not what you're doing. So, again, try to get it the 10th day. Make sure it's kind of it's without blemish. Make sure it ain't looking crazy. Kill it at sundown or cook it at sundown. Use tape or paint to represent that blood. You have your bitter herbs, your wine, your lamb, and your leavened bread. No boiling, no frying it. No fat, no blood. Burn your leftovers. Eat it in haste. No leaven in your homes or in your food. Sabbath is the first and the last day. So the first Passover is also the first unleavened bread and is a Sabbath. And then the last day of unleavened bread is a Sabbath as well. It's only one Passover. Only one day of Passover. And no going house to house. And you must keep the Passover. And also no eating with worldly unbelievers. So let's get 12 and 43. And the Lord shall said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover, there shall no stranger eat thereof. So people that's in the world that's not keeping his laws, such commandments, they are not able to partake of the Passover with you, because Passover is a very, very, very serious day. And in order to keep Passover, you have to be spiritually purged of leaven. And if you are not purged of leaven, you are not worthy to partake of the meal. That's why it is so important that we make sure we get our spirits for Passover, because if we're eating Passover and we're not right, we're defiling the high holy day, and we don't want to do that. This is Jeremiah chapter 22 in verse... What was I writing? Because that ain't the precept I wanted. Okay, yeah, that's not what I wanted. 1 Corinthians 11-24. I probably wrote down the wrong thing. 1 Corinthians 11-24. Let's get that. And we're going to switch gears here in a little, so bear with me. 1 Corinthians 11-24. It reads... And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, "Take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me." I'm going to just skip down to verse number 29. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. So we don't want to eat of this unworthily, so we want to make sure that we are spiritually right for Passover, and we're going to switch gears to that here in a little bit. So make sure you're not eating it with unbelievers. And I'm going to get some modern names for leaven, so like it. So here, modern names for leaven: sodium bicarbonate, sodium acid phosphate, baking powder, aluminum hydrogen carbonate, ammonium bicarbonate, potassium bicarbonate, yeast, leaven, cream of tartar, sodium aluminum phosphate, baking soda, baker's yeast, primary calcium phosphate, calcium phosphate, sodium, I already said that, ginger beer, brewer's yeast, beer, kefir, buttermilk, eggs. Some people think eggs are leaven, some don't. So just pray on it, whatever is in your spirit. Items that may contain leaven: medicines, packaged cheese, prepackaged meals. Check all your labels. Canned goods, beer and alcoholic beverages, salad dressings, certain sauces and vinegar, meats. Check packaging ingredients. Bottled water, baked goods like pancakes, waffles, puff patches, cookies and snacks, and crackers. So, Lord willing, I will upload these pictures on my community. So I will upload these things on my community so you can go look at it yourselves. But make sure you check the ingredients for everything, because there's yeast in a lot of stuff. Yeast is in almost about everything. So get creative with your meals. Reach out to sisters, see the things that they've cooked in the past. Lord willing, I'll try to post some recipe ideas, because I don't really eat meat like that. So hopefully I can post some fun things for y'all. So now we're going to go to the spiritual side. Before we go to the spiritual side, let's touch on this really quick, because Passover is very serious. So this is Luke 22:19, and it reads, "And he took bread and gave thanks and brake it and gave unto them, saying, This is my body, which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me. Likewise also the cup after supper, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you." So the wine represents Yahawah's blood, and the lamb and the bread represents his body. And then John 19:33. So make sure you're being gentle with the lamb, because it's like Yahawah's body. So don't be over there like slamming it against the table and stuff like that. This is John 19:33. "But when they came to Yahawashi and saw that he was dead already, they broke not his legs." So, don't be over there breaking the legs of the lamb. So kind. I know, like, we're in different, some of us, like, we're in different congregations, we're in different camps. So, some of y'all might do things a little bit differently, but you're still doing it in righteousness. So however y'all doing in righteousness, all praise to the Most High, but this is just what's on my spirit, how we're doing it over here. So kind. So again, try and get it the 10th day. Be gentle with the lamb. Make sure it's without blemish. Kill it at sundown and cook it at sundown. Take the paint to represent blood, bitter herbs, lamb, unleavened bread and wine. No boiling or frying it. No fat or blood. Burning leftovers. Eat it in haste. No leaven in homes or in food. Sabbath is the first day. So Passover, the first day of unleavened bread the first day of unleavened bread falls on Passover, and Passover is a Sabbath as well. And then the last day of unleavened bread is a Sabbath as well. no going house to house. You must keep it, and no eating with unworldly believers. And also some bitter herbs are, let's see, try to get it real bitter now. Bitter herbs, parsley, horseradish, endive, mint, chamomile, coriander. Get those bitter herbs and really turn it up. So now that we've touched on the physical, now we're going to go to the spiritual, because now that we know how to keep the Passover physically, are you able to really keep it though? So first, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6 through 9. Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Yahawashi, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. Therefore, let us keep the feast. Hey, stop moving around. Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and in truth. Hey, sit down. Sit. Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. So let's get into these definitions. So basically, you want to keep the feast with no leaven and no malice. So we want to be pure and upright in heart and keeping this feast in sincerity. So let's get the definition. Let's really get into this thing. So let's go to 1 Corinthians 5 in the blue letter Bible. Actually, I got it written down. Malice in the Strong's G2549. It means wickedness that isn't ashamed to break laws, ill will, depravity, which means corruption, malignity, which means evil. Leaven, Strong's G2219, is a metaphor for mental and moral corruption. So when the Bible tells us to keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with leaven of malice and wickedness, that's basically saying we cannot be moving in wickedness. We cannot be doing ill will. We cannot be corrupt when we keep this feast. So you have to be truly set apart, keeping these laws, statutes, commandments, and sincere and upright in heart when we keep this feast. Now, I will say, that's not saying that you will not be struggling with a demon on Passover, because that's what I thought when I was in this first coming to the truth, and it was very overwhelming to me. As long as we're in this flesh, we will fight demons. Passover does not mean you might not fight a demon. That's not what that means. It means being sincere and upright in heart. Meaning, when you're at that table, you cannot be thinking about smoking that blunt when you get back to the house. When you're at that table, you cannot be thinking about punching your sister. You have to be moving in a spirit of love and sincerity. You cannot be hating your brother. You cannot be holding grudges. You cannot be tapping into the world. So when it's telling us to keep the feast, not with leaven, not with wickedness, but with sincerity and truth, that means you have to be truly set apart from the world. You cannot be still doing the things of the world. You cannot still be going to kickbacks. You cannot still be wearing booty shorts. You cannot still be hating your brother. That's what it means, and that's how I, take it from my spirit. Now, you may disagree. We can agree to disagree, but I'm not out here saying when Passover comes, you can't be struggling, because we're all fighting demons. But what it's saying is you cannot be in this world. You have to be pure. You have to love your people. You got to be moving in the right spirit. So now we're going to go to 1 Corinthians 11 and 24. And we're going to start at, 24. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, Take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as often as ye drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. So we want to examine ourselves and make sure that we're moving in the right spirit. This is 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. For examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith, prove your own selves, know ye not your own selves, how the Yahawashi is in you, except ye be reprobates. So Passover is so important, because not only are we entering a new year, not only this is the most important feast day. Like, straight up, this is the most, not saying that the feast days are not important, they're all important, they're all beautiful, but this is the most serious and the most important. This is, we're entering a new year. So you know how people in the world, they enter a new year, they're trying to be better, they're trying to get gold. We're trying to enter this new year pure. We're trying to enter this new year to be better. So this is the time to examine yourself, see what you struggle with, see who you need to forgive, see who you need to apologize to, make amends, apologize to sisters and brothers you may have wronged, apologize to worldly people you may have wronged. Now's the time to examine yourself and see, are you still moving in the flesh? Are you still doing things in this world? Are you still cussing people out and punching them? Like, what are those things you're still struggling with? And then let me go to Exodus 34 and 25, because we literally cannot partake of we cannot partake of this meal if we have leaven in us. And again, leaven and malice in the Strongs, the true definition of that is malice, is wickedness and evil and corruption. So we cannot partake of this meal if we have these things within us. It's Exodus 34 and 25. And it says, thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leaven, neither shall the sacrifice of the feast of the Passover be left until the morning. So again, of course you want to burn the leftovers. You can't have it in the morning, but we cannot eat of this meal with leaven. So we cannot partake of this meal if we are spiritually not right. So we want to make sure that we're worthy of that meal. And you do that by prayer, by fasting, by being real with yourself. And not gonna lie, Passover is sifting season, because we're entering the most important day of our lives. Satan's doing everything he can to sift us out. So Passover season might be tough. It's gonna get hard. You might have, it's gonna get tough. Okay. You want to get broke down to the core to see what you truly need to work on before going into this new year, going into this feast day. People you need to forgive, things you may not have healed from. So, work on those things, pray on those things, fast on those things, and really get your spirit right. This is 1 Peter 2 and 1. Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speakings. So lay aside all those things. Lay aside malice. Lay aside all those things. Lay aside those things that's not going to help you get the kingdom of heaven. And then I want to go to Titus 3 and 3. Okay. Sorry, y'all. So not that. Okay, Titus 3 and 3. For we ourselves also were sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving divers lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful and hating one another. But after that, the kindness and love of Yahawah our Savior toward man appeared, not by works of righteousness which we have done, but according to his mercy he saved us by the washing, regeneration, and renewing of the Holy Ghost. So this is the things we used to do. So we want to put those things off and make sure we're not moving in that. Make sure we're not moving in disobedience. Make sure we're not serving lust and pleasures, doing the things as well. Make sure we're not living in wickedness and in malice and envy. Make sure we're not being hateful and hating one another. So we want to make sure we're not moving into those things, because that's how we used to be. So we want to make sure we're not moving like that come Passover. So, and then the last scripture I'm going to get is Romans 12 and 2. And it reads, and be not conformed to this world. Okay, I'm starting 1. I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercy of Yahawah, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahawah, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahawah. So we want to be new. We want to be not of this world. We don't want to be like this world. You want to be a new woman. Okay, so that's really all I had. I just want to get on here and encourage it. And brothers, they also have a very beautiful deep breakdowns on Passover. So check those videos out, because it gets deep. But we want to make sure that now that we know, how we keep it physically, but that's also how we keep it spiritually. We want to make sure we're moving in the right spirit, that we are not at that table thinking about, can't wait to go home and smoke that blunt. So me personally, when I think of get my sprite for Passover, I don't tell myself that, by Passover come, I'm never going to struggle with a demon again, because that's not true. And that's what I was telling myself when I first came into the truth. And it was very overwhelming for me. It was very hard for me, because we will be fighting demons until we get delivered from this place. That's just the condition of the battle. 2 Corinthians 10 and 3 through 5, the things we go through are not of the flesh, but we are fighting a spiritual warfare. We're fighting spirits on a high level. Ephesians 6 and 12 says that as well. So we're going to be fighting demons up until Passover, even after Passover. But when I think about getting my spirit right, I think about making sure I'm not in that world, that I'm truly set apart, that I'm moving in the right spirit of loving my people and doing my best to keep these laws, such commandments. And then I'm getting back up when I fall, and that I'm truly set apart from the world. So, not in wickedness, not in malice. So make sure your spirit is right. Make sure that you're truly set apart from this world and you're not doing the things of this world. Make sure that you are doing things as well, pleasing unto the Most High, which is keeping His laws, such commandments. It is sifting season, so Satan is out to get us, but we are stronger with the Most High. You got to win the mental battle first. Luke 10:17-20, Philippians 4:13, Psalms 28:7. The Most High is our strength, and if the Most High is on our side, what can man do unto us? So we shall not fear, because we have Yahawashi. So as long as we got the Most High, we can overcome anything. Now's the time to be real with yourself, and it might hurt, Now's the time to be real with yourself, to see the things that hurt you, the things that you have not healed from, the people that you need to forgive, the things that you need to work on, how you need to be better in it. You might cry a lot during this season, but hey, we got to get our spirits right for Yahawashi. So make sure you have your spirit right. And I'm going to go over one more time. The body, the bread and the meat represent Yahshua's body, and the wine represents his blood, and the bitter herbs represents our bitterness in Egypt. Let me get that. Exodus 1 and 11. Therefore did they set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities fitting in Ramesses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. So we lived a bitter life in Egypt. We went through hell in Egypt. So those bitter herbs represent the bitterness that we went through in Egypt. Try and get it the 10th day. Make sure it's without blemish. Try your best to kill it at sundown and cook it at sundown. Try to use tape or paint to represent the blood. Bitter herbs. Make sure you have bitter herbs, your lamb, unleavened bread and wine. No boiling or frying it. No fat or blood. Burning leftovers. Eat it in haste. No leaven in your homes or in your food. Check the ingredients. Get leaven. Check even your cleaning supplies and your hair supplies. Check everything. Leaven is in everything. Check everything. Don't be ignorant in any matter, small or big. Sabbath. If the Passover, it's only one Passover, but it's 7 days of unleavened bread. The first day of unleavened bread falls on Passover, and it's also a Sabbath. So Passover is also unleavened bread and a Sabbath, and the last day of unleavened bread is a Sabbath as well. No eating with unworldly believers. No going house to house, and you must keep the feast. Vinegar is also leaven as well, and we just want to make sure we try to do it to the T, because we are rehearsing the righteous acts, and we're just trying to do it to the best of our ability, because we are not in our homeland, but we are in a captivity. So we just want to make sure we do the best that we can, and the things that we're not able to do, we pray for mercy, because some of us are still living with parents, or we're living with aunties and uncles. Some of us do not have our own house. We do not have our own place. And so you can only do what you can control. So you may only have to get out the leaven that you have bought, the leaven that you have, you may not be able to use wisdom, because if you're living under somebody else's house, you can't go through their kitchen and throw away all their food they got leaven. They're going to cuss you out. They might even kick you out. Israel, don't play with them. So you can only control what you can control, unfortunately. So just pray that the Most High have mercy upon you and mercy upon them, because they do not know. So don't go around taking your auntie living out and throwing it away. Don't go around throwing away your mama and your dad and your brother food and stuff they have bought. You can only control your thing. So if you are living with somebody else, just focus on your leaven. If you have a car, put a check on your car, whatever. Or if you want to throw it away, do that as well. So just use wisdom. And just ask for mercy, because we can only do the best that we can do. So, Lord willing, is edifying. Lord willing, like I said, I'm going to post the pictures of the modern names 11 and food that have 11. I'm going to post all that on my YouTube community. So check out my YouTube community, and Lord, y'all continue to endure and have a beautiful rest of your week or your day whenever you see this video. And then read Leviticus 12, read Leviticus 23, and also read the book of Exodus and Exodus 12. But this is Leviticus chapter 23, and I'm going to start at verse 5. I'm going to start at verse 3. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. And the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. And the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire to the Lord 7 days. And the 7th day is a holy convocation. You shall do no work therein. So like I forgot to bring it out, but the 14th day of the first month. So remember, your new moon is before your Passover. Your new moon is the first day of the new year for you and the first day of a new month for you. And then 14 days from then is the 14th day is your Passover, and it's also your unleavened bread, and it's also and it's also a Sabbath. So Lord willing, this is helpful and edifying, for sisters that are new into the truth. This is how you keep Passover. Keep it upright, keep it pure, keep it holy, keep it set apart. Lord willing, this was helpful. I love y'all. Call it Yahawashi. Shalawam. Shalawam, y'all. I forgot to mention, Easter is not biblical. It is not, it's not the Easter that we know of. Easter about bunnies and eggs is not biblical. It is nowhere in the Bible. Like I said, you can research origins of Easter, the pagan rituals with Easter. But this is Acts 12:4. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions. I think I said that wrong. Of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. If we get the Greek definition of Easter, it is Strong's G3957. It translates to Pashak.
Strong's G3957. Pascha.
Which means Passover. So the biblical meaning of Easter is Passover, not the Easter that we know of bunnies and eggs and all that madness. That is pagan and it is wicked. And let's look at the other definition. The lamb the Israelites were accustomed to slay and eat on the 14th day of the month of Nisan, the first month of their year, in memory of the day on which their fathers, preparing to depart from Egypt, were bidden by Yahawah to slay and eat a lamb, and to sprinkle their doorposts with his blood, that the destroying angel, seeing the blood, might pass over their dwellings. Christ crucified is likened to the slain paschal lamb. That is a beautiful definition of what Easter, which is also Passover, what that is truly going into. So again, Easter, the one we know of with bunnies and eggs, is not biblical, but the word Easter is indeed in the Bible, translated to Passover in the Greek definition. So Passover is what we keep, not bunnies and eggs. So call it Bahasham Kakadash Shalom.
Woke up this morning and